You keep saying tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. Each night, you tell yourself that when the morning light returns, you'll finally feel ready to begin, to move, to change. But when that morning comes, your body feels heavy, your mind quiet, and your energy gone. So, you postpone again. You convince yourself that the timing is not right, that you just need one more day. But the truth is, you've been doing this for months, maybe years. You watch time pass like sand slipping through your fingers, aware of it, yet unable to stop it. You scroll, you distract yourself, you drown in small comforts that only leave you emptier. There's a silent guilt in every wasted day, a dull ache that reminds you of everything you could be, but aren't. You know you have dreams buried inside you, but the distance between who you are and who you want to be feels unbearable. You wait for a spark, that perfect moment of motivation that will finally pull you out of this fog. But it never arrives because motivation isn't coming to rescue you. You're stuck in the waiting room of your own life, surrounded by unfinished intentions and forgotten promises. And deep down, you already know the truth. No one is coming to save you. Not tomorrow, not someday. The only person who can move you forward is the one who keeps waiting. We grow up believing that motivation is the fuel for action, that first we must feel ready before we can begin. It sounds reasonable, even logical, but the truth is, that belief becomes the very trap that keeps us still. You wait for the right mindset, for the right morning, for some invisible surge of energy that tells you it's time, and while you wait, life quietly slips by. Your mind has learned to protect you from anything that feels uncomfortable. It confuses comfort with safety. That's why it always whispers, not now, maybe later. Because later feels harmless. Later lets you stay in the warmth of the familiar, even if the familiar is painful. Your brain doesn't care about your dreams. It only cares about survival. If a task feels big, uncertain, or exhausting, it labels it as danger. And so it pulls you back toward the easiest escape, scrolling, resting, or doing nothing at all. Carl Jung spoke of this inner split, the conflict between the conscious and the unconscious self. Your conscious mind says, I want to change, but your unconscious, the deeper part of you shaped by fear and habit, resists. It doesn't want transformation because transformation threatens identity. To change means to step into unknown territory, to confront the parts of yourself you've kept hidden. And so, you remain stuck, not because you're lazy, but because your inner world is divided. Understanding this doesn't make you weak, it makes you aware. It means you finally see that the war inside you isn't personal failure. It's biology and psychology intertwined. The body avoids pain, the mind avoids chaos, and the soul waits for permission to move. But here's the truth. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for calm seas before you learn to swim. It never comes. Motivation doesn't precede action. It follows it. The spark you keep waiting for is hidden inside the very first small step you're afraid to take. Once you move, the energy arrives. Once you begin, the resistance weakens. You don't need to feel ready. You only need to begin before your mind convinces you not to. Your mind tells you a comforting lie, that once you feel ready, everything will fall into place. That one morning, you'll wake up clear-headed, inspired, and unstoppable. You tell yourself that when that moment comes, you'll finally start writing that book, going to the gym, studying, or cleaning the room that's been collecting dust for weeks. But that moment never really comes. The perfect mental state you're waiting for is an illusion, one your brain created to protect you from discomfort. Think about the times you've said, I'll start when I feel like it. That single line sounds harmless, even responsible, but what it really means is, I'll start when it's easy. And that's exactly how your mind delays your growth, by convincing you that ease must come before effort. You stare at the blank page but can't write a single line. You promise yourself you'll work out when you have energy. Yet the longer you wait, the heavier your body feels. You tell yourself you'll clean when you're in the mood, but the mess only grows, and so does the weight on your chest. The human mind is brilliant at justifying inaction. It uses logic as a shield. It whispers, it's not the right time, or I need to plan more, or maybe tomorrow I'll feel better. Each thought sounds reasonable, but each one keeps you exactly where you are. Comfort disguised as wisdom, logic disguised as fear. Motivation isn't the spark that begins the fire. It's the smoke that follows it. It's the feeling that comes after you've already started. You don't feel motivated to move. You move, and then you feel motivated. Every time you take a small step, your brain learns that action is safe, and the fear begins to fade. The real lie your mind tells you is that you must wait to feel something before you act. But the truth is the opposite. Emotion follows motion. Readiness is not a condition you find. It's a state you create. You don't wait to feel ready. You act to become ready. Carl Jung once said that the shadow is everything within us that we refuse to see. It's the hidden self, the part that carries our fears, insecurities, and buried desires. Most people think of laziness as weakness, as proof that they lack discipline or drive. But Jung would say laziness isn't moral failure. It's a symptom of resistance, a quiet war between who you are and who you could become. The shadow doesn't hate progress. It fears it. Because to grow means to shed the familiar, and the familiar, even if it's miserable, feels safe. When you try to change, you're not just fighting bad habits, you're confronting your entire identity. The routines, the excuses, the stories you've told yourself, they've all built a version of you that feels comfortable to live inside. To act differently means to admit that the old version of you must die, and the mind resists that death. That's why you delay, why you hesitate, why you find small distractions to fill the silence. The shadow whispers, "Stay here, don't move. At least here you know yourself." It tells you that starting will hurt, that failure will humiliate you, that you'll lose control. And sometimes you believe it. Because the truth is, becoming who you're meant to be requires facing everything you've avoided. Jung believed that the parts of us we suppress do not disappear. They simply take control in silence. The more you ignore your potential, the louder your shadow becomes. It shows up as procrastination, fatigue, and self-sabotage. Every time you shrink from effort, it grows stronger. Every day you avoid your calling, it gains power. You may think you're resting, but often you're just negotiating with the part of yourself that's afraid to evolve. This resistance is not evil. It's protective. Your shadow is trying to keep you safe from the unknown. It doesn't understand that the unknown is where life begins again. To overcome it, you don't destroy the shadow. You integrate it. You make peace with the part of you that's scared to grow. You begin by saying, "I know you're afraid, but we're doing this anyway." And when you move, despite the fear, you reclaim power from the darkness within. Every time you act in defiance of your resistance, your shadow becomes your ally, and the path ahead becomes yours again. There's a quiet tragedy in waiting. You don't notice it at first. A skipped day, a delayed plan, a promise to start next week. But time doesn't pause with you. It keeps moving, quietly, faithfully, without asking if you're ready. Days blur into nights, seasons change, and somewhere between distractions and good intentions, years begin to fade. You tell yourself you still have time, that life hasn't really started yet, that the right moment will come when things finally feel stable, or when your mind is clear enough to begin. But every time you postpone, a small piece of your potential withers, not because it disappears, but because it remains unused. Look around, unfinished notebooks, abandoned ideas, dreams half-built and half-forgotten. These are the monuments of waiting, silent reminders of the life that could have been lived. You scroll through the same feeds, watch the same routines repeat, and every now and then, you feel that sharp ache in your chest, the awareness that time is slipping and you are standing still. The cost of waiting isn't measured in lost opportunities, it's measured in lost aliveness. Each day you wait to begin is a day you never fully inhabit, a day that passes without meaning, without movement, without the satisfaction of becoming. Someday you'll look back and realize that nothing dramatic ever stopped you. No great tragedy, no impossible wall, just hesitation, just the small daily choice to wait instead of move. And that's what makes it so devastating, because time doesn't forgive stillness. It rewards those who move with it. And if you keep waiting for motivation to come, one day you'll find that life itself has quietly moved on without you. At some point, you realize the waiting has cost too much. The silence between who you are and who you could be becomes unbearable. But here's the truth most people miss. The first step toward change isn't action. It's awareness. The very moment you notice your pattern, the moment you catch yourself repeating the same quiet loop, something in you has already shifted. Awareness is movement. It's the spark before the flame. You can't break what you can't see. And by seeing your own resistance, you've already begun to dissolve it. You've stepped out of unconscious repetition and into conscious choice. That's where transformation starts. Not in grand plans or sudden discipline, but in that gentle realization. I don't want to live like this anymore. You don't need to hate the part of you that waited. You needed it once. It kept you safe when you weren't ready. It protected you from failure, from pain, from the unknown. But now, you can thank it and let it rest. Awareness gives you permission to move without anger, without guilt. Change doesn't demand punishment. It asks for understanding. You are not broken. You've just been asleep at the wheel of your own life. And now you've opened your eyes. Every moment of recognition, every time you say, I see what I'm doing, is progress. Because once you become aware, you can't unsee. Once you understand, you can't return to pretending. Awareness is the doorway. It's small, quiet, and always open. And the moment you step through it, you are no longer waiting. You are beginning. Awareness is the beginning, but awareness alone isn't enough. You have to move, not with intensity or force, but with quiet consistency. Motivation may never arrive, but momentum will if you learn how to build it. The key is to stop waiting for the perfect mindset, and instead design a system that carries you forward even when you feel empty. Jung believed that true change doesn't come from fighting your nature, but from working with it, turning the unconscious into an ally rather than an enemy. These 3 principles will help you do that. 1. Ritualize discipline. Replace motivation with ritual. Motivation is unreliable. It fades when life gets heavy, when emotions shift, when energy dips. But ritual gives structure to chaos. It's not about forcing yourself to act. It's about creating a sacred routine that pulls you forward. Think of monks lighting candles at dawn, writers who sit at their desks at the same hour every morning, runners who tie their shoes before sunrise. Not because they feel like it, but because it's what they do. Discipline isn't about strength, it's about rhythm. When you ritualize an act, it becomes part of your identity. Start small. Pick one time, one place, one behavior, and honor it daily. It could be writing for 5 minutes, meditating for 2, walking to clear your head, or setting your phone down for an hour of focus. Over time, these rituals build internal order, a quiet promise to yourself that you'll show up no matter how you feel. 2. Shrink the task. Your brain fears what feels too big. When a goal looks massive, finishing a book, changing your body, starting a project, your mind sees a mountain and retreats. The trick is to shrink it until it feels harmless. If you want to write a single sentence. If you want to get fit, do 1 push-up. If you want to clean your room, start with 1 corner. This isn't laziness, it's psychological leverage. Once you begin, the resistance fades. Your brain learns that the task isn't dangerous, and it rewards you with a small burst of energy. Jung once said, "What you resist persists." The longer you resist starting, the heavier it becomes. The smaller the step, the lighter it feels, and the easier it is to begin. 3. Act before you think. Your thoughts will always find a reason to delay. They'll tell you you're tired, unprepared, uninspired. Don't argue, move first. Action shifts energy faster than thought ever could. Count down from 3 and act. Stand up before your mind talks you out of it. Open the notebook before you plan the perfect idea. Begin the task before you feel ready. This rewires your association with effort, from fear to flow. Once movement begins, clarity follows. Think of it as lighting a match in the dark. The light doesn't wait for certainty. It appears because you struck it. Every act of beginning burns through the fog of hesitation. Change doesn't come from grand motivation or flawless planning. It begins quietly, in small rituals, tiny steps, and unthinking motion. You don't need to trust motivation, trust momentum, because once you start moving, even slightly, the weight begins to lift. And what once felt impossible slowly becomes your new normal. Something begins to shift the moment you move. You start small, hesitant, unsure, but as you continue, energy begins to rise from nowhere. It's as if the act of doing breathes life back into you. This is the quiet secret no one tells you. Motivation doesn't appear before you start. It awakens because you start. Every time you move, your mind realigns. Doubt becomes focus, hesitation becomes rhythm, and what once felt like resistance turns into flow. The more you act, the less you have to think. Action replaces anxiety, and slowly, the space that used to feel heavy with guilt becomes filled with momentum. Movement itself becomes meaning. The progress may be small, but it's alive. Each step is proof that you've escaped the loop, that you're no longer waiting for the right feeling, you're creating it. You learn that energy is not found in rest, but in direction. You don't need to find motivation, you create it. One movement, one small act, one promise kept at a time. The world rewards motion, and every day you choose to begin, you remind yourself that life isn't waiting for inspiration. It's waiting for you to take the first step. Change rarely happens in a moment. It happens in quiet, invisible ways. In the mornings you show up when no one's watching, in the small acts that no one praises, in the choices that seem too small to matter, but somehow change everything. Every spark begins as a decision to move, to act, to rise. And though the fire starts faint, every small effort feeds it. The days you resist the urge to wait are the days you add fuel to your purpose. Over time, that faint flicker becomes warmth, then strength, then light. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." The moment you move with awareness, you reclaim your fate. You stop being led by the hidden fears that once ruled you, and you start living by intention. The fire within you has always been there, silent, patient, waiting for breath. Every act of courage, no matter how small, fans it into life. Don't wait for the perfect moment. There isn't one. Begin now, in your imperfect state, and let movement become your prayer. Because once you take that first step, the flame answers. And in that light, you finally see, it was never motivation you were missing. It was motion.